All right, hey y'all. I'm back with another episode. This time, episode 8 of the Healing My Inner Child series. I'm so glad that you guys are joining me along as I am sharing just some of my stories about healing my inner child, and hopefully they can inspire you to heal as well as just honor your inner child. Sometimes it's just nice to honor. It doesn't always have to be about healing every single day, every single moment, but let's heal, let's honor, and let's bring out the little child. So when I was in Bali, and I had a lot of time to reflect when I was in Bali, specifically a lot of time to reflect during the flights. And during those flights, I realized something. I have been kind of connecting a lot with my ancestors that have passed, and specifically my great-great-grandmother. And she had this little thing at our home, and I'm not sure what they're called, but you ever have those? It's like a toy, but it's also like decoration, and it's where they have those, for lack of a better word, I want to say like Asian things where it's like there's a woman and then you open it. It's almost kind of like an egg, and you open it and there's another woman inside, and then you open that and there's another woman inside, and then you open that and then there's another woman inside. You guys remember those things? And then eventually it gets to an itty bitty woman inside, and you can't open that anymore. That's your inner child. You cannot escape that inner child. It doesn't matter if you heal your inner child or you don't heal your inner child. That child is there. You got full custody. I don't care how many times you're trying to run away. You got full custody. All the ways you handle your emotions, all the ways you find simple, just joy, all of your natural habits, your natural routines are in that itty bitty little woman. And you can have all these layers, all these shells as you put the little things back in, and you can be old. You could be big, you could be grown. Little you, still there. Little you does not go away. And it's funny because we think that they go away, but have you ever seen an adult who has never, who continues to run from themselves? They're running from that child, that inner child. Oftentimes, obviously there's no absolute in everything, but oftentimes that adult that you see that you're like, ooh, they just been running all day life. You can't escape little you. Little you will always be around. Little you is you. The good, the bad, the ugly, the trauma, the joy, the whatever, the dreams. I was just having this conversation with my best friend, and we were talking about the dreams that we have, and no matter how many times we try to outrun them, no matter how many times you try to cheer on someone else for living out their dreams, like, oh yeah, they're so good, they're so cool, they're doing the thing that I wish I could do, I wish I could be like that. You can. The difference between you and them is having faith. It's having faith. It's you believing in that dream that little you had. Little Bree wanted to be a star. Little Bree wanted everyone to be happy. Little Bree wanted to help people. That's Little Bree. That's me. I'm Little Bree. And no matter how many times I think that because I have a new outer covering, a new shell in the, I need to figure out what that's called. But because I have a new shell, that doesn't mean that at my core, I'm not Little Bree. Little Bree has to heal some of that trauma also to unlock some of those dreams. Sometimes we can't remember the things that brought us so much joy because there was so much pain in there. Sometimes we can't remember those things until we say it out loud. I was just watching the Katrina babies documentary, and a lot of the kids, because it was the Hurricane Katrina, but it was focused on the lens of they're now adults, but they were children at the time of this happening. And while they were children, they still had emotions, and maybe they couldn't easily unpack them. And you know, a lot of times children are labeled as resilient because they keep going, but oftentimes they just have to disassociate. A lot of that pain, a lot of that trauma, a lot of that drama is still there. You cannot escape it. It's going to show up in strange ways until you finally say, I'm going to face it. And then the good thing about when you start facing it, because it's going to be hell. It's going to be hell. It's going to have you looking sideways at certain people. It's certain people I have looked at sideways since healing my inner child, because I said, I ain't deserve that. I ain't deserve that. Point blank, period. I was a child. I did not deserve that. And so actually, I know I thought we was cool, but we're not. Because why would you do that to a child? Why would you harm an innocent child's psyche like that? Why? Why? And I say that to say is because a lot of times, once you actually ask a child, what was going on? How does that make you feel? But we're not asking kids that. And even when we are asking kids that, I'm sure there's some ways behavioral psychologists or someone who can explain certain behaviors when children do answer those questions. But it's just like sometimes, you know, we have to uncover that. We have to ask ourselves, was I really okay? Or what, did I just disassociate? Did my body just say, we can't sit in this. This doesn't feel safe. So now we're going to go play on the monkey bars. That just feels easier. How many times do we do that as an adult? Ooh, it's been a rough week. It's been a rough time. These bills. I'm gonna have a glass of wine. What are you doing? You're disassociating. You're picking the easiest route to move forward. Children do the same thing. Children carry that. I carry that. I couldn't figure out for the longest. I went through a lot of anger as a child, and I used to never understand where the anger was coming from. And my family didn't understand where the anger was coming from either. And I think it took a while for me to acknowledge that emotionally, I really was going through a lot because emotionally, people were harming me. Emotionally, I was seeing other people be emotionally harmed. I was hearing so many people have so much negative self-talk. I was hearing so many people belittle me and belittle the people around me. No wonder I think less of myself. No wonder I have low self-esteem. No wonder I was the perfect target for bullies. I was so small, right? But now I've uncovered that, and like I said, it's hard. You need a support system if you are on this journey. You need a therapist. You need someone who is much bigger than me being on YouTube. I can only do so much. A lot of it is going to require a lot of grueling work. It's not easy. But once you uncover that, you get to really see you for you. And you're going to be angry. Like I have anger towards certain people who I feel did things to me that I didn't deserve as a child. However, I've also had so much joy figuring out, oh, this dream I've had all along, it's been here. I just buried it. I just buried it because society told me to. I buried it out of fear. And then now, well, hell, I done uncovered all that other bull crap. So now I can really, really, really focus on, so how am I going to get that dream? Because that little girl had a dream, and I'm gonna, come hell or high water, I'm gonna make sure that little girl gets that dream. Okay? Because no matter how many versions of me, no matter how many that are in that little egg casting shell thing that you play with, no matter how many versions I continue to be, I'm still little Bree. And little Bree has dreams. And honestly, probably, I'm sure there's a correlation. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Those little dreams, those dreams that you had when you was little, that was your purpose. Because oftentimes, who do we say is closer to God? Children. We knew what we wanted to do here. We knew. But someone said, I don't know about that. Are you sure? It's only for a select few. And even though one of my dreams, for instance, as a child, and pause, I'm also trying to do a little content. I've got 33 days. I'm on day 2 of 33. And if you're on TikTok, you can catch me there too. But hold on, pause. But oftentimes when I was a little girl, yes, I wanted to be a star. And sometimes the core dream is still there that you have from your child. That core purpose is still there. But have me tell it, little Bree was going to be the next Britney Spears. Okay? Little Bree was going to be in the next girl group. I was going to be in a new 3LW or a new Destiny's Child. 100%. 100%. I'm going to be honest. I think I still want the star life, but a star in a totally different way. I'm not that interested in Hollywood. And I will be honest, I don't think that I have the voice or the dancing skills to be in a girl group or to be the next Britney Spears. However, the star, the wanting to be seen, that at its core has never left me. No matter how many shells, no matter how many versions of myself I try to be, that little girl still lives in me. That little girl's dreams, I've uncovered them after uncovering some of the hurt, the trauma, the bad habits that I had, and uncovering why I had those bad habits. It's taken time. I honestly started therapy fully in 2016. We're now in 2025, and I could say that at least coining the term inner child started around 2018. So I've been doing this for a while, and take your time. It's not overnight. You've lived a lot of years. There's a lot to uncover, and you also still got to go about your day-to-day life. But that little girl's purpose and dreams was to be a star, was to be seen. Which were yours? Which were yours? And when you get to that point, and then it starts to be that, all right, now you know what it is, so you can't run from it now. Now you got to go out and live it. And so when God says, I need you to do this, don't question it. I know it's hard. You're going to have human experiences. You're scared. You're human. But remember, the one who is ordering your steps is not. They're not human. You may be human, but God is not human. So the next time you sit there and say, I don't think I could do this, or I don't really know if this is in me, or, was it really God? Think how long you've had that dream. Because think about how many things that come and go, like fashion. Think about how many things like that come and go, right? But that dream continues to follow you in every life. Like I said, no matter how many layers that go in that I've really got to figure out the name of that thing. But no matter how many layers go into that, little you is still in there. Little you is still in there. Give little you a chance to work with God to create those dreams. That's all. That's all I had. It's been interesting because I've been talking about God a lot on TikTok, and such a sacred relationship that I have with God, and I don't often share the way that I view my relationship with God and how, but it's all connected. And honestly, there's only so much as me as a human that I can do, and I need the supernatural. I need God to step in those areas that I can't. Also, a lot of it is I'm in a space where, I've been so strong, I've been so controlling, I've been so hyper independent. I just want to see what life could be like without my hand in it. I just want to see what miracles could be performed, because so far I've had, many, like little miniature miracles. But for the most part, I've just had achieved goals. I put in all the work. I may have asked God for help along the way and God helped me, but I put in all the work. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are achieved goals. But in order for a miracle to happen, means you weren't expecting it, right? Which means you weren't doing much to get it. Maybe all you had to do was ask and then you received it. I'm ready to step into that part of life. I'm ready to see what a miracle looks like. I know what I'm capable of. I want to see what God's capable of in my life. And that might mean following him blindly. But anyways, thank you so much. I hope this resonated. I feel like this one was a little bit different and I was a little all over the place because honestly, I'm really tired. But again, I promised myself, girl, you gonna get this done. I was trying to think of something, but I'm seriously tired. So it's time for me to go to bed. But you guys are so awesome. Thank you so much for subscribing to my page. Thank you so much for interacting with me as we heal our inner child together. So see you on episode 9. Okay, bye y'all. Hey guys, I'm back because I figured out what they are called. The Google search that I put in was real funny. It took quite a few searches to get to this answer. However, they are called Russian nesting dolls. And I'm gonna see if this camera will focus enough to show you, but if not, then you can Google them. But before I even get started on that, and I was talking about connecting with my ancestors that have passed, I think it's kind of funny how I put that 2 and 2 together, but Russian nesting dolls stand for fertility and honoring all of the women who came before us. That just made my spiritual spidey senses tingle. Anyways, here you go. So it is like this. Come on, focus. Maybe if I get out of the camera, focus. But you see all the smaller figurines? Yeah. So my great-great-grandmother had one of those. And just goes to show that little you is still there. You still there, girl. Or boy, or, oh Lord. You still there.